Welcome to the U-Turn podcast. My friend, this is Ashley Stahl. I'm your host, and you are in the right place if you're ready to create a business, a career, a personal brand, or just a life that you're so proud of. And every single week, we want to support you by bringing you PhDs, subject matter experts, psychology practitioners, business leaders, all here on the show to elevate your success in business and also in life so that you can leave the legacy, you can amplify your authority, and you can really skyrocket the amount of opportunities you're creating for yourself in your career, whether you're corporate or you're a business owner. And if you are new here, again, my name is Ashley Stahl. I'm an international bestselling author of the book U-Turn, Get Unstuck, Discover Your Direction, Design Your Dream Career. And most importantly, I'm the CEO and founder of Wise Whisper Agency. I'm a top 100 TEDx speaker on the internet, and I was so inspired to create Wise Whisper and help clients craft their signature talk. We've helped hundreds of clients craft their talk, and we've also helped so many of them land spots on some of the biggest stages in the world, including the TED and TEDx stage. And so I am here on a mission to help every changemaker I know impact millions. Also, before we get into this episode, shout out to our friend Andy B. Mackin, the artist that has gifted us this sick new music for the podcast. Let's get into this week's episode. All right, U-Turn friends, if you didn't listen to the episode we have with Sydney Riker, what are you even doing? I'm bringing her back on the show. She's such a queen. So much has changed since we last spoke. She was in LA, now she's in Austin. And to refresh you, if you didn't hear her original episode, she is a sales beast. She's built a multiple eight-figure global wellness sales organization with over 8,000 active customers. She built a sales and recruiting agency where she helped eight-figure businesses scale their teams. And obviously, what happens sometimes when we grind too hard is we burn out, which is what happened to her. And now, obviously, she's more vibrant than ever, writing all the time, living a more grounded life in Austin. And so today, I'm really, really excited to have a conversation with her, not just about entrepreneurship and playing really big in business, but also just like pivoting and how to become who you're meant to be. And also, she has a book coming out that I'm really excited about. So, or has it already come out? Remind me, Sydney.
I have one coming out. I also have one that just came out a
Yeah,
few months ago. So we're
yeah,
moving fast.
yeah. So books galore, which we need.
Yeah.
So welcome back to U-Turn Podcast. Thanks for coming on.
Oh my gosh. I'm so happy to be here. This is one of my favorite people to talk to ever. So I was just so excited to
Thank
chat with you
you.
today.
I know.
Yeah.
I wish that your news was that you didn't move to Austin, but that you were down the street in New York. I'd be like,
I
yes,
I
because
know. Me
I
too. Me too. If it were my choice, I would be there.
I don't have any like LA kind of ladies. I actually was at a women's networking group and I heard this woman talking about raising her vibration. And I like went all the way over to her. I'm like, she sounds like my LA friends. I'm like, do you want to have dinner with me? We have dinner tonight.
Oh my God, funny.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, I
I'm
love how
like,
that works out.
yeah, yeah. If you know somebody that is about raising their vibration, you text me, Sydney,
Yeah,
because
yeah. I
I
will. I
love
will. I know
New York
many
ladies.
people. I
That's
know
what I
many
need. I
people.
need like
Mhm.
businessy, spiritual, like New York women.
So hard to find them. It's so hard to find
Dude,
them.
it is. It is.
Yes.
Like I just haven't found that alignment that I have in LA. It's so crazy.
It's
But
so weird.
okay, you've done so many things in your career, and I'm actually really excited to have you here, not just for the audience, but for me personally, because I am like, I was just telling and everybody, I was just telling Sydney before I hit the record button, I'm scaling my business. And it's been a year of me, my ads were working and I was like, oh, I'm scaling now. And then I went through this little journey called managing a sales team, creating a sales process. And Sydney, I didn't even know what an appointment setter was. I didn't know that was a job title. And I was a career coach. I never coached an appointment setter. So
Wild.
never came across it. So there's so much I didn't
Wow.
know about sales and running sales teams and scaling something like what I have. So I want to start there. Like, where is the first time that you looked at a business and went, "Oh, I'm about to go Donkey Kong on this thing. Like, it's about to go." And what came up for you? Because I think a lot of people like I am, I'm terrified. Like I'm terrified. Mo money, mo problems. These are all my limiting, but they do
Mm-hmm.
kind of feel real because I see all my wealthy friends in LA with lawsuits and God knows what the fuck
Yep.
they're
Yep.
dealing with. So when was the last time you scaled something and how did you regulate yourself or what were some of the issues you were facing as you were doing that?
Oh my gosh, there's been so many times. Let's just go back to the first time because I feel like that was such a big
It's groundhog.
change for
Yeah.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because when and it's always the same, just at different levels.
Right.
So when I built my first company, I was 21 years old. I was straight out of college. The most I had ever made was $8 an hour working in a gym. And I went on to build like you said, 8,000 person sales organization that was like something I never expected. And I never was able to regulate myself during that journey.
Mm.
And that was what caused me to step back completely and say, I literally am done with this. I'm in a new chapter of my life. And I moved into a new avenue, right? And I was lit up for doing that for a while. And then the same thing happened. And I
Mm.
was like, okay, first of all, like the upper limiting is a big thing. A lot of us, I mean, in everyday life, we just upper limit. And if anybody's ever read The Big Leap, that book changed my life, along with Secrets of the Millionaire Mind.
Mm.
Those two books were very good resources for me, kind of coming out of both of those businesses that I was building. And I think that at the end of the day, a lot of us are stepping back. We kind of briefly touched on this before we hit record, but like a lot of us are stepping back. Like, what do I actually want to do? Am I actually happy in what I'm doing? If you're happy in what you're doing and you're scaling and you're worried about making more money than you're already making and lawsuits and all of these things, what I had to ask myself was, do I want those problems? Do I not want those problems? Because either way, we're going to have problems. If we don't have enough money and we're struggling in our business, that's very, very painful. I think it's much less painful to have a lot of money and dealing with lawyers or whatever sort of problems you have dealing with the sales team. Those growth edges, if you're in entrepreneurship and you kind of get off on those things, you're probably in the right place. If you don't, and it really like is not problems that you want to have, and you'd rather have problems of, working for someone else or whatever we want to talk about it, then great. For me, I kind of found a happy medium for myself because I had been working with so many people for so long that for a while I just needed to step back and say, I'm going to do like writing books, right? I'm going to write books where I don't really have to deal with a big team for a while just to like realign with what it feels like to do something from a place that feels really good. And then if I can do that, what I can stack on top of it is all of the experience of working with a team and scaling the business. And
Mm.
so I feel like at the end of the day, a lot of us have these fears or these, upper limits that we come against. And usually the fear comes from deeply rooted beliefs of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm going to fail and people are going to laugh at me, or I'm a failure and I'm going to feel bad about myself. But if we feel aligned with what we're doing, then those I feel don't come up as much because we're so driven to like do whatever we have to do to hit the goal.
I was just reading Deepak Chopra's Seven Spiritual Laws of Success, which is like one of my Bibles. I read it almost
Yes.
every day. And he was in the spiritual law of least effort. He talks about how like what's done with love is done more successfully because it's easy to do things when you have love there. Like it's
Oh, I
just
love that. I've never read his
right.
book.
Oh my God. It's not even like a book to read, Sydney.
Is it
it's
like
like
a daily thing?
it's a daily thing. I
I
would
love that.
never get anywhere with that book if I read it in one swoop. I did when I first got it. Nothing stuck with me, but
Really.
there's seven spiritual laws. They're like 5 to 7 pages each. I read one law a day. Sometimes I fall into the pattern of like reading the same one at the beginning of the book because it's the beginning of the book. So I have to remind myself, open up.
Yes.
But there's the law of karma, law of least
I
effort,
love
attachment,
this.
law of intention. Yeah, and it just made sense. I'm like, yeah, it's I don't believe in the follow your bliss thing because I'm super blissed out about fashion, but I'm a
Yeah.
horrible
Yeah.
stylist.
Yeah. Doesn't always have to be a business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Follow your interests, but don't
Yeah.
monetize them all the time. Artists don't always need to sell their art. But I do think that
Totally.
when you have love for something, I think the thing I struggle with, Sydney, is that it's not so binary, right? It's not like I love it or I don't. I'm aligned,
Yeah.
or not.
There's
Big
moments.
we live in is gray.
Yeah.
And so I look at my business right now and I'm like, wow, we are the best writing house I could possibly
Hmm.
imagine anybody finding to write a speech for them.
Yeah.
And we have 100% success getting people booked on really big stages, a
It's so
lot of
amazing.
TEDx that we're helping with. And so people come in and I'm like, game on, you're about to work with the best.
That said, some stages we tell them this is going to take us a year. It could take 6 months, it could take 12, it could take 18. Our contract terms like 24 months. We get
Yeah.
anxious, nervous Nelly clients that sometimes, not all of them, very little of them, but the
Right.
ones that do are like the squeaky wheels, right? Where
Yeah.
they're emailing nonstop and we don't know what to say other than like nothing's changed since Tuesday. Like we're still pitching you. We're going to get you
Right.
your
Right.
so a lot of business problems are people problems. Either you don't have the right hires in place to help you,
Yeah.
you have the wrong hire in place, it's causing damage, you have a client, you took on the wrong client. Talk to me a little bit about that moment where you were about to scale something. Where were you? What was the business? And what were some of those challenges right in front of you that was like, this is going to be hard. This I need to overcome and figure out.
Oh my God, every single step. Well, let's just use the most recent of like
Yeah.
getting books off the ground. Um,
When I started this podcast, it seemed like I had to figure everything out on my own: the scripts, the setup, the filming schedule, logos. It got really overwhelming, and every day kind of seemed to introduce this new decision that I needed to answer. So that's kind of how it goes, right? When you're starting something new, it seems like your to-do list kind of grows every day with new tasks, and that list can easily begin to overrun your life. So finding the right tool that not only helps you out, but simplifies everything can be such a game changer. And for so many millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. Shopify really helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand's style. You can accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with very helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography so you can get the word out, kind of like you have a marketing team behind you. So you can easily create emails, social media campaigns, whatever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your e-commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. So if you're ready to sell, you ready for Shopify. So turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/U-turn. Go to Shopify, shopify.com/YOUTURN, shopify.com/U-turn.
I mean, there's so many edges all the time, every single moment. And that's why most people aren't entrepreneurs and they're not successful entrepreneurs because they don't live in the uncomfortability. And I think that if I could give anybody any advice in growing or scaling anything ever, the only thing that you can really do is get uncomfortable or get comfortable in the uncomfortability of
Yeah.
just constantly being new. Because if you're growing, even if you're making $100 million, if you're trying to grow to $500 million, there's going to be something that's uncomfortable, someone you have to become to get to that next level. And a saying, if you're talking about Chopra, my Eastern philosophy mentor has always shared with me that has helped me in those moments when I feel like a failure, or I feel like I have like these walls I'm coming up against, which is at every phase in something new, especially, is a two-part phrase. It's keep showing up for the lovely possibility, and then without being attached to the outcome. And
Yeah.
if we can just continue to do that. So if ever I come up against, oh my God, like I hate drafting a book. Okay, well, that's going to be an issue if I want to be a writer. Okay, now I like drafting a book because I've done it enough. Now I have to learn how to edit the book. Okay, now I have to learn how to market and publish the book, right? All these steps. And every single time I come to one of those, like, I force myself to do it until I start to like it. Usually once I know how to do something, I'll enjoy it, right?
Right.
The familiarity, we're familiar creatures. And then if I can just keep showing up for that lovely possibility that, one day I'm going to be on the New York Times bestsellers list without being attached to the outcome if I never do, that's when you'll always be happy in what you're doing and you'll never fear what you're doing because you're just continuing to show up for the lovely possibility that all your clients could just be amazing, right? You're just
Yeah.
continuing to show up for the lovely possibility without being attached to the outcome.
It's funny you say that because sometimes I picture entrepreneurship and success and scaling a business like a tunnel where there's like this light at the end of the tunnel and we're
Mm,
you've got like this small shop and on the other side of the tunnel you're walking through is this like the promised land where like,
right.
the business is scaled, you're not bootstrapping and like revenue isn't choking or whatever
Yeah.
problems you have when you have a bootstrap startup. So you look at this promised land, but sometimes it feels, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, like in this tunnel, you're just closing your eyes and dodging like razors and shreds of glass. And I'm like
Totally.
walking through this tunnel and I like peek with my eye, hoping glass doesn't catch it to be like, ooh, there's light over there. And the
Mm-hmm.
thing I've been toying with is the reality that this tunnel is one of many tunnels that get you to the same place. Why can't I walk through a tunnel lined with puppies and rainbows?
Right.
And I'm like, well, I don't really know a lot of entrepreneurs who would describe entrepreneurship like puppies and rainbows, especially when
Mm.
you're scaling a business, which kind of brings me back to what you're saying about alignment. It's hard to, I think, for a lot of people who are in pivoting or scaling, I think there's a lot of questions around like, what does alignment mean? What does purpose really mean? And what are the expectations we should be managing there? Because you know what? I love my mom and dad, but they have flaws. And sometimes I feel like I'm eating, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the
Mm-hmm.
game, right? But they're aligned. Like these are my
Yeah.
parents, right? So it's like
Right.
this business,
Mm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
I love this business and don't love the client that stopped paying their payment plan in the middle of us landing them their
Yep.
fee we promised and wrote, and we're in the
Mm-hmm.
red because
Yep.
we paid our team and they're not paying us, and now they're mad that we won't give them their thing. Like
Yes. There's
that is,
so many. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. One of the biggest things that's coming to me right now that again has helped me, it's a Middle Eastern philosophy and um, it's called the five acts. Okay, so there's and everything on Earth, on planet Earth, in this realm that we live in on Earth, there's the beginning, a duration, and a completion to everything. So a client being angry, there's a beginning of that client being angry, the duration, and eventually that client will either get satisfied or release the anger. There's an ending. So the other two acts are Vilaya or Nugraha in Sanskrit, which mean the perspectives. Are you going to have a perspective of this beginning, duration, and completion? Whatever the thing is that happens, happens, whether it's good or bad. Our perspective is the only difference of what experience we have of those acts. So it's either a negative perspective where it's a problem and it's annoying and it's a pain in the ass and it's glass getting thrown at our face through the
right,
tunnel,
right,
or it's anugraha, which is, oh my God, what a blessing. Oh my God, what an opportunity for us to grow. Oh my God, what an opportunity for us to create a system to not have this problem again, or to do whatever we can to be able to figure out, the thing that happened. And so the thing is always going to be the thing, that the event is always going to be the event. How we look at it is going to be the different differentiator of how we experience our life. And
yeah,
that sounds so woo-woo, but it's true. It's like the same event could occur and one person could look at it as like, oh, fuck. And then a person who's been around for 10 years, it's like, oh, just solve it like that.
yeah,
Completely different experience of the same
yeah.
problem.
Yeah, it's so true. And you know what's funny? It reminds me of my coach. This woman is a firecracker. I was just telling you about a coach I have in
I
Austin. This
gotta,
one's not in
gotta
Austin,
meet.
but
Oh,
two.
okay.
I honestly have three at this point. I'm like, wow, is this a cry for help or am I just
That's
on?
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Um, but this one, oh shoot, you just said something. Oh, so she owned a med spa at one point and she got hit with a lawsuit and it was an unreasonable lawsuit
Mm.
and she knew it and she knew the client was crazy and that the person was insane, but she kind of was like, I got to deal with it because we live in a culture where you got to like respond to lawsuits. So like most people like me, for example, I've like grown up with the fear of God in me with breaking the rules or like
Right, right.
I've said on this podcast before, like if I was in the middle seat in the back of an airplane and the airplane was empty, I would stay in my middle seat in the back because I have such a deep fear of getting in trouble
Wow.
for breaking the rules. And like
I feel that.
people
I feel
see
that.
me and they're like, "Oh, you have so much integrity." I'm like, "No, I just have so much."
I'm fear. Yeah. I feel that. That's one of
Yeah,
mine as well. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
it's
yes.
so sad, but it's
Yeah.
like working for me, I guess. But wait,
I
wait,
tried
wait.
to get out of that, but yes, I feel you on
Literally.
that.
So she was telling me that this lawsuit hit her up and she told her lawyer the craziest thing. She said to her lawyer, she said, listen, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. And this is why this woman is my coach. She goes, you have all my documents. You're representing me. You have power of attorney. I don't really want to hear from you till this is settled. And the lawyer goes, what do you mean? Like, do you want me to send you updates? Like, is that what you?
Figure it out.
She goes, no, I don't want updates and I don't want to be looped in. I want to hear from you when the solution has arisen and it's going to close out. And you have
Wow.
the power of attorney to decide that for me based on your experience. And so,
Wow.
isn't that amazing? So she
Oh, I'm
got a phone
obsessed.
call a year and a half later. The attorney's like, hi, the case is coming to completion. The amount you owe is whatever. It's not a lot. And she said to my coach, she said, I just want to tell you that I've never had a client do this with me before, but looking back on all these clients I've worked with, their billable hours were through the roof because they just had anxiety and they just wanted updates
Control and yeah.
about things that weren't going to change anything.
Wow.
Said, so thank you for letting me do my job. And my coach was like, thanks for doing me right. And it didn't even exist in her field,
Oh,
right?
wow. And what a peaceful experience she had for a year and a half that could have been a nightmare.
Right? My friend's getting audited right now, and I'm sure
Oh,
it's a
I've had
nightmare.
that happen.
I told her the story. I voice noted it to her because I'm like, can you do this with this audit? Can you do this?
Right. 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 That's brilliant. I mean, there's been times, even as, like tiny compared to most business, we had a cease and desist, we had a lawsuit, and that's not even that was in the first year of business. I've been audited before, all of these things. Um, they're scarier than they seem to be, but it really does come down to how much are you willing to let it affect you, you know?
What do you do? Because, like, to be honest, I feel like I've been able to rise above a lot with my spirituality, a lot with my personal development. But there's a couple things I haven't. For example, my dog. Like,
Mm.
I have this new boyfriend. Well, he's not really new anymore. I love him. His name's Jason. He's the fucking best.
Oh,
And he is so caring. He does so many things. And we're both here in New York. And I'm just realizing lately, I'm like, I don't think he gets how much this dog is the love of my life. Like, because
mm,
like I have risen above codependency on so many levels. But if my dog is not well, my heart is
well,
broken. I
yeah,
just live for this Jupiter. Like, he just
yeah,
the sweetest little friend. And
yeah.
so when his eyes hurt, when he's like struggling, his health has a problem, I just like there's like this open tab in the back of my heart of darkness and
Mm,
sadness that I can't seem to grasp.
totally.
Like you've lost a
Yeah.
dog. So it's like
Hmm.
I I was just thinking like, wow, my personal development hasn't gotten me past this one. Like I
Mm,
haven't been able to
mm,
use my tools to get past Jupiter and like
mm.
him not being well. Lawsuits. I have the fear of freaking God in me, Sydney.
They're terrifying. They
They are
really are. They're
terrifying.
terrifying. They terrify me as well. But
What do you do? How do you regulate?
okay, so I regulate through two different things. The first one is called the living practice. It's a recording that my mentor recorded years ago. I send it to every person in my life. I'll send it to you. You can put it in the link show notes. It's
Yes.
10 minutes. And whenever I get triggered, whenever I have one of those things, we're all gonna have things, no matter how evolved and enlightened. There's always a thing. Even my teacher, who's like literally an evolved man, I'm like, what triggers you? And he's like, when I hit my head on the table. I'm like, does that happen a lot? And he's like, no, but when it does, it triggers the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like little things for people like him. But for me, a lawsuit is triggering for me. And so I'll turn this recording on and it allows me to, I'll just have to send it because it's just an experience, but it's really being willing to go into those emotions, feel them fully to allow them to actually be honored and then they get healed. So that's the first part is whenever there's a trigger that comes up, I just go straight into it. And I'm like, I need to just feel whatever this is because it's not, the trigger is just an energetic imprint, whether it's from this life or a past life. And so you just have to be able to honor those feelings, even if it's with Jupiter. It might be because you and Jupiter lived past life that was like, who knows,
Yeah.
siblings or something, mom, son, whatever. And the only way that you can process those things is by allowing yourself to be sad, to be angry, to be upset, to be hurt, and then heal it through feeling and honoring the emotion, whatever it may be. And then it dissolves a little bit.
Yeah.
The second thing I do, which is super woo-woo, but it has transformed my life, is
Mm.
I chant in Sanskrit. It sounds so weird,
Love it.
but essentially it's Sanskrit is one of the oldest languages, and there's a thing called sutras, and they're basically condensed sentences down to the core truths in the world. And I chant these sutras every single morning. And when I chant and chant, it's like Om Namah Shivaya, like in yoga, when you say Om over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It tunes the frequency of the instrument of the body and it allows it to come into homeostasis. And so every single morning before I write, before I get in my laptop, I chant for 10 minutes and then I sit in silence. And it's the only time I can meditate after I chant because it truly, like, my whole body gets aligned. The days I do not chant I'm yelling at my boyfriend. I'm getting triggered about this thing. It's like a noticeable night and day difference. So I can also send the chants that I do. It's on Spotify.
Love
My
it.
teacher, we finally got his stuff on Spotify. So I can send all those links
I'll
to
put these
you.
in the notes with your book.
Yes.
This is
It
so fun.
sounds so weird, and I
It
thought it was
doesn't
so weird, but
actually.
it
Sound is real.
literally,
There's all the science to
oh my
prove it.
God.
Like what
And
happened?
I'll just sit in silence, and it's like I can go deep and like discover the things that are hiccuping me up in my writing or if this relationship I have. It's like I can solve all my problems after that because my mind is clear. So those are my two things. Whenever I'm triggered, whenever something comes to me, it's like I just got to do the inner work, you know?
You know what's been like a breakthrough for me that I've learned lately is, and this is like another one of my coaches. I feel like I have like a SWAT team at this
I
point.
love it. I love it so much.
It's like it's just as inspiring as it is kind of disturbing. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of humans here. Like I feel like I also
You
wear
need a
a lot of
team. It
evil
takes a
eyes.
village.
Like I have my evil eye necklace on. I'm like, wow,
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
literally seeking all the protection and support. But
You should see my house.
yeah, right. And so she told me, she was like, Ashley, we always hear people say feelings aren't facts, and
Mm.
I love remembering that because
Yep.
I think
Yep.
there's been like an over-indexing, especially like when I was in my 20s, which now I'm almost 40, but like when I was building my coaching business and I don't even have people associate me as a coach. I'm like, my
Right.
agency is not a coaching business at all. But
Right.
when I was building my coaching business, which I look back on, I'm like, oh my God, who was I at 26 to think I could offer the whole world all this life advice? And thank God it was decently sound and I was
You're
doing a lot of
crazy.
personal development. It is crazy.
Yes.
But all of it said, I think that the personal development world was overvaluing validation to the point
Hmm.
where we make feelings more real than they actually are sometimes. Like,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
God, just because you had a voice tell you something,
Doesn't mean it's
thing, it could just be
yes.
some voice and a stupid feeling that means
Yep.
nothing. It's just your
Yes.
body doing
Yep.
body things with its cells. And
It's so true. And thoughts, thoughts. People, it's like the thing, the thing about that practice that I shared, that's when you're pulled into something and you're like about to freak out on your husband.
right.
The rest of the time, what I do is when I have a thought come into my mind, I
Yeah.
name it. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, let's say this thought, oh, we just got a cease and desist letter. Okay, cease and desist letter thought. And then I name it and then I release it. And then I rest back and I'm like, let's see if another thought comes. And it's like, I'm kind of freaked out thought. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to let it get too fully developed because then I'll just start to spiral down like the spiral hole. And
Yeah.
then I name that thought, okay, I'm kind of freaked out now thought. And then I rest back and slowly the thoughts just stop coming.
Yeah.
But the thoughts, when they spiral, is when we get then sucked into the emotion and then we have to do damage control through the living practice. But if we can catch stuff like that early, then it doesn't, then we're not like turbulent all the time. It's just like we can have really high lows and low highs and just stay in the middle.
Mm.
And I think, like you said, our culture is just these big sweeping emotions is like, social media drama and
And
like
it's
all
like,
this
let's
bullshit.
validate all these feelings.
Yes.
And also social media, like I was just editing a client's speech that she's giving at a TEDx event for us and or for herself. And she was talking about how like a quarter of the world population literally logs on to Facebook every day. A quarter.
What?
Like it's like 26%.
Oh my God, that's insane.
It's insane. And here's the thing, like a lot of people, it's like they're oversharing, right? And that's okay. Like I say that without the judgment. I'm like, they're sharing things that are very private because I don't think our mind always wraps itself around like, oh,
Right.
this random person I met at the summer camp that was mean to me just read that too. Like everybody sees it.
Plugging your energy into everybody else all the time. Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
it's wild. And
It
so I
is wild.
think to myself, I'm like, validation is a very important skill, saying like, I see you, I hear you, that feeling, you're allowed to have that feeling. But I also think sometimes we need to start a movement to like invalidate ourselves a little bit of like, this feeling is like, this is just
Yeah.
a feeling. It's coming on strong. I'm
Yep.
just like gonna look at it and say, it doesn't mean I need to figure it out. Doesn't mean
Yep.
anything. It's just a
Yes.
feeling,
Yes.
just a
Yes.
feeling.
Yes. Yes. And that's what it's so funny because you're like literally speaking what that recording says. It's like you don't have to attach to the feeling. You don't have to become the feeling. You can watch the feeling like it's flowing by you and not like hold on to it and ride it down the river, right?
Exactly.
But that's the hard distinction because when we're in those emotions, they feel so real
Yeah.
because our belief systems and what's caused that disturbance in our past and our history. And so it's really tricky to separate our awareness of what we truly are, which is our true self, and that part of us that's like little and hurt and afraid or, scared of getting yelled at by your dad or your teacher or whatever. It's being able to separate those two while you're in it, which I think
Yeah.
is, challenging, but possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And also like business has made me think a lot about like life partners because I'm like, damn, we really need somebody that feels like a soft place to land
Yeah.
because this is like a tunnel of glass shade
It
sometimes.
is. It really is. Your partner is the most important person to pick, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really is. It
Okay,
really
so
is.
you and I have talked about like mindset, and one thing that I love about you is like clearly you have the tactical down.
Mm.
And one of the things that I've learned with sales, like I've ever since I met you, I've been in like an indoctrination about sales because I just like I I don't know if it's like my fear or my integrity thing, but I'm like if somebody gives me an objection, they're like I don't know if I can afford it or I need to talk to my wife. I'm like you do you. I am the least
Right.
like, let's
Yeah.
sit around and smell that and figure it out, right? Like I just don't
Yes.
there's something in their sovereignty and mine that I'm like, oh, that's your sovereignty. You come on over
Right. Right.
is a great closer that's like, let's process that. And then they move it
Hmm.
forward, which is so powerful.
Yeah.
And so I want to ask you, like, for me, learning the sales teams has been so powerful to be like, whoa, I can take what I understand about building a sales team and literally explode any company that has a good offer.
Hmm.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
It's
That's
insane.
crazy. Like,
Yes.
I know
It's
so
so
much.
powerful. It's so powerful. It's the
It
engine.
is. Yeah, like essentially, I've been a sales manager, so I understand how to hire salespeople now. I understand what
Yes.
they're looking for. I understand how to
It's
just
a skill. It's one of the best skills you can have, and it's not taught by anybody, really.
no, especially like not well. And I will say, Sydney, there's a lot of like riffraff in sales, and I'm sure you
Yeah.
and I have swam in
So
all of
much.
it. Like riffraff in the sense of like like yes, there's standard practices for like a script that a salesperson should
Right.
use. Nothing worse than when you're a customer and you're like, hey, can you just tell me about this thing? And the person goes into their script and copy
Hmm.
their shit on the person.
Newbies.
There's some like weird stuff with sales. All of it said, what is the thing in business that you've learned to increase revenue? Obviously, it's sales, but take me more granular. I want to give somebody listening right now, just I know we've been in our spirituality, our mindset, which is like everything, but I want to give somebody who's listening like a little tactical boost, whether they're in corporate, whether they have a business where it's like, damn, Sydney like built something and this was like her little sauce or the little thing that she like really believes is the thing you got to get down. What
Within the sales space or
sales,
within.
business building, scaling, revenue? Like if somebody right now is listening and they have 3 clients and they want 20,
Mm,
what's like the Sydney
yes.
sauce that's like, let's get you to 20?
Well, this is going to sound just so, it's
Well,
either
they're
going to sound annoying or it's going
yeah.
how tactical do you want?
I love tactical. Like,
Okay.
and I feel like let's say they have 6 months or a year to do it. Like they're willing to put in the time.
Okay. Um, if you only have three clients, this is like my hardcore, like,
Bring it
um,
like a
you
white thing
need,
in Austin telling me about spirituality and chanting. Give me some-
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
This person, if they have three clients and they need 20, they need to start 10xing what they're actually doing in output. I think that a majority of most people's problems that are under 1 million a year literally need to 3x, 4x, 5x, whatever it is they're doing, and make sure that the actions that they're actually doing to get clients
Are work.
are the actions that they should be doing to get clients. Like assess the strategy and then 10x it, which sounds like a very, well, yeah, duh, but no one actually does that.
Yeah.
And the only way, especially if you're the first 5 years in business, the first 2 years of what you're doing, you need to compress 10,000 hours of expertise into way less than 10 years, or you're going to quit before you get to 10,000 hours of expertise and compete with anyone. So
Yeah.
what you have to do is you have to compress your timeline and say, I'm going to commit to mastery, which according to Malcolm Gladwell is 10,000 hours in the next 2.5 years. What
Mm.
would I need to do what I would normally do in 10 years to hit X amount of revenue per year, X amount of clients per year? How can I condense that? And what that takes is an insane commitment to output. And no one is taking enough action if they're at that place where they're like, I have three clients. It's like, obviously that's just an example, but like most people
Yeah.
that are probably listening to any podcast in the world, if we look at the statistics of most businesses and how much they're actually doing in revenue, they're just not doing enough action. They're not reaching out to enough clients directly. They're hoping their social media does something for them. You need to be so proactive until you have a following like you, Ashley, where you have loyal people that trust you and they'll sign up because they've seen your stuff 10, 20 times.
Mm.
An example I would use is me with writing. I said, I'm going to hit mastery in 2 years. I'm going to write for 10,000 hours in the first 2 years. And in the first year, I've written over 1 million words, which is a fuck ton of words.
That's
And
a
that's
crazy amount of words.
it's a lot of books. And to me, I'm like, now I have the confidence and I've launched a book. So now I'm going to repeat the cycle. And most people, I'm just using this as an example for people, most people that become authors, they maybe get their first book done in the first year. So if
Mm.
you look at one book compared to 10 books being completed in the same amount of time, I'm just condensing all of those repetitions that person's never going to catch up to me on now,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
So I think if we can look at it as like, what do I do? It's like, just start doing more. And then you'll figure out what works and what doesn't
See,
very
I knew
fast.
I was supposed to poke your ass with this, Sydney, because you just gave me like the truth, which is because this is what I don't love is sometimes like my badass girls will get on here and they're like, let's talk about meditating. I'm like, yeah, it's great stuff. And I
And then
think it's
take
really important
action.
for people to hear this version of you because like we are using these tools, we are believing these tools, we're trying to like soften like butter when we walk through the door. But like you got to get out there and like harden,
You got to
get
get
it done,
done,
chop, chop.
especially as women. I think that for me, the meditation, all those things have helped me to not feel like I had to prove myself when
Mhm.
I was doing these things.
Or you're coming from like a less wounded place.
Where I was like, I have to be this to be enough. Now I do these things so that I can create from a place that's very inspired and I can do way more output that's good because I don't fucking care what other people
Right.
think. Because I'm doing it because I want to and I get up every day early because I'm good to sit down, I'm going to sit my ass down and I'm going to write for 5, 6 hours before I do anything else. And that's because I know what I want. I'm very clear on it. I have my strategy. And so I'm taking massive amounts of action.
Yeah.
14-hour days most days. And so I think we just have to, again, circle back to the beginning of like, if you are not committed to doing that much work, this is not for you. Go
Yeah.
do something else. Go get a job. That's okay. Not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur. I hate to say that as well to a
Yeah.
group of entrepreneurs. Not everybody is. And
There's
that's
a lot
okay.
of coaches from the lifestyle business that I used to be in that I have to like advise them. I'm like, remember, just because you were in delegation, high ticket price land doesn't mean that's what entrepreneurship is. That's what
Yeah.
niche you were in. Coaching has
Yeah.
changed, the landscape has changed.
So much.
You have to expect different things. One thing though that really comes up for me about what you were saying is like, and that is sales, right? Like it is a numbers game. And I've
Hmm.
actually had to do some personal development around that because I used to think that about dating. I used to be like, if I go
Mm,
on 500 dates on Hinge, the chances are my husband's hiding in one of them or whatever.
totally.
But like, I really reflected on that. I'm like, I don't know if I believe that. I need to go do all of that work to
Right.
find the
Right.
most aligned person. That's why they
Right.
say you find them when you're not looking because it's like a frequency thing. People see
Yes.
you, and that's why
Right.
your job is to be your best you, right? People see you and they feel your energy and they want to be near it. And those are usually the most aligned, correct people.
Yeah.
And I could have spun my wheels like that lawsuit where my coach said just
Right.
later. People could do that with dating, right? And be like, it's a numbers game and I'm going to go ham on this
Yeah.
versus I'm going to go be the best version of myself and
Right.
rate as high as I can. And
Yep.
I'm going to be like this light beam that the right person comes right on over to. And you
Yes.
just cut all right. And
Yep. And then you don't have to do as much. If you show up in whatever you do, so like I'm saying, take all this action. If you can pair it, because it's two wings of the same bird, if you can pair all this massive inspired action from this place of also being your best version of yourself, where you're showing up authentically and aligned, you're passionate, you're happy, you're meditating, you're doing all these things, then it's like you will literally be a magnet for the things you're doing. And then the 10x that you're doing above everyone else will be 100x because you're
yeah,
also showing up with this life force in you that's like on another level as well. But it's, yeah, if you just want to go out and do 5,000 terrible sales calls, at the end, you're still going to be a terrible salesman because you didn't work to get better. You didn't become the best version of yourself through the process, right?
right,
So it's mixing the let's do more with let's do it better as
right.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting because I think if I've hired a sales coach, that's in my little trio of coach, my little coaching collection is a sales
Cute.
coach. And she kicks my ass, but one thing that I really don't enjoy about it is that she is very output driven. And when my sales weren't working, she was like, looks like you need to stop hiring out people to do sales and you need to do your sales. And I'm like, I don't want to do it, da da da. Well, I'm a better salesperson and I'm able to run a sales team because now I understand what this
Right.
really looks like. And it was a
Right.
crucial tunnel. There were
Hmm.
razors in it,
Yes.
but
Yes.
like I'm on the other side and I have a team now. And so like I look back, I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful for that woman that like literally busted my balls. Like I
Damn.
just
I
died
love
on
that.
that hill. And it was, and just talking about output back in January when the fires were happening in LA, revenue went down because the holidays happened and I was burnt out and my closers didn't know how to close because I had no sales process because
Right.
I didn't understand sales. Um, so I decided to cut all the noise. And
Mm.
January, February, March, I was like, I'm not leaving my house unless I'm going to the gym. I told my friends, I'm like, I'm in a portal and I will see you on the other side. I'm in a portal.
Yes.
Like I can't leave unless
I
somebody
love that.
sees me. I came out and quadrupled revenue and started hiring.
Wow.
Yeah, and I met my guy. I met my partner. I met my partner and talk about alignment. I had my coach said, don't date. She's like, you got it, because she said dating messes with your frequency, and she
Yeah.
studies Eckhart Tolle, which is like
Yeah.
the pain
I
body.
love him. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Love Pain
her
Body.
big thing is, what is your pain body? Which
Yeah.
mine is I don't matter. How fun is that? And they're like, my
Uh-huh.
pain body is nobody picks me. I'm like, oh my God. A meme of a bunch of like skeletons dancing on Halloween with our pain body listed on them.
Totally. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my
So like
God, yes.
like this is what I'm using AI for. Is like it was playing like Everybody Dance Now, and it was like two skeletons dancing. I was like,
Oh,
nobody chooses me. I don't matter. And they were just like dancing.
stop it. Oh, you have to send that to me if you still
It's
have it.
ridiculous.
That's
But
so funny.
point being, like, she was saying, like, dating is gonna mess with your frequency. Like, you're focused on work, and if you date somebody, it brings your pain body out because, like,
It does.
stories, and then your frequency will go
Yeah.
down if you want to go put your capacity there. So I didn't date anybody. I open up the dating apps, and there's only one guy sitting there. He's the most handsome guy.
No.
And I was in New York and I just like,
No.
oh, I'm on a business trip. I just finished all these achievements. Like, I'm gonna just go on one date in New York. How fun. Here I am with him 5 months later,
Shut
moving
up.
together soon. Like,
Oh my, but that's how it works. That's how
wait,
it totally works. That's, I mean, very similar to how I got together with my partner, who ended up being my business partner first and partner now. But if you can be with the right person because you're the right person,
right. It's
then it
like
can work.
if your vibe feels like it sucks right now, go get your vibe up.
Yeah, and don't date anybody because you're not doing them
Yeah.
anything either.
Yeah, get some leverage. Like
Yeah,
what's the lever you can pull to feel better?
yeah,
And again, like it's like the outside in. It's like it did make me feel better that my sales was working. The outside in is a real thing. Like
yes,
the
yep.
inside out matters. The outside in does too. Like,
Yes, it does. It
no.
does. And I think that yeah, we over index on one or the other, right? The spiritual
Yeah.
community over indexes on the inner,
Yeah.
the non-business community probably over indexes on the outer, but if we can balance those, it's like, oh, how amazing. How
Yeah.
amazing. It's
Yeah,
super fun.
I love that you shared about output because like no matter how much I was miserable in like quintupling my output, I became a beast. And I
And you just feel fulfilled and happier than doing nothing because then
Well, I
you're
felt
like,
fulfilled from the result, but the process
yes.
was brutal. I was
Yeah, 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 yeah.
feeling like I'm dying. And
Yeah.
that's the thing is like that, it's some weak shit if I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I'm dying, poor me, I'm gonna give up. No, like I've been working for this thing. And
Yeah.
the thing is like, I think when we talk about alignment, that's where I think the struggle spot is. So what would you say
Mhm.
to that person that's like you and I, where they're like, we want alignment? Because when I look at my business, I'm really proud of it and proud of what we're doing. But I was like eating and that doesn't
Uh-huh.
feel that aligned, but where
Yes.
it's getting me, who I was becoming
Yeah.
did. So how do you
Yes.
help people see that or get that?
Well, one of the things that I feel is important to share as you share, like it's like eating is a concept called the tapas realm, which is basically Earth is like a heat realm. And so to transform on Earth, we have to go through heat. Just like if you want to bring water to a boil, you have to heat it up. Um, and it transforms it into, gas. With us, it's the same thing is true. For us to transform, we must go through heat, which we deem as the negative perspective, which is eating. I feel like I have trained myself to experience that pain as like it's so sadistic, but I'm love it. I love when I'm in pain because I know I'm transforming and I'm going to be alchemized and I'm going to be a better version of myself. And so I've trained, I think it was through bodybuilding or just doing so many bad sales calls or whatever. I just trained myself to want to die and rebirth every single day and
Mm,
like get high on it. And to me, that's like the best feeling.
mm.
So I feel like if that's a prerequisite to your question, but I feel like to understand that is very helpful when we're in that eat mode.
Yeah.
But if you're not feeling aligned, I think there's a difference, right? You're in alignment with what you're doing. I can tell you're in alignment,
Yeah.
even though you feel like you're eating every day. They're
Right.
not the same thing. It's like
Right.
you can feel like I felt the last 5 days I've been editing a book. I've edited it 4 rounds through. I'm exhausted, but I am so aligned.
Right.
I'm so aligned, even though I'm feeling like, oh my God, like I am exhausted. This was terrible. Like, it's kind of painful. I
You
also
feel
kind
like
of
sick of
about
yourself,
it.
probably like reading your own book. That's how
I'm
I
like,
felt.
I can't read another word of my own
Yeah.
book.
Yeah, totally.
But I'm so aligned. And all I can say is that clarity is clear. Once you're clear on this feels like a yes, you will go through to continue to chase it.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to say like, oh, if you're not feeling aligned, stop what you're doing. Potential if it's not alignment, if you're not just bored and you're wanting to do something else because, you know, if you're wanting to find alignment, slow down a little bit and start following the yes. Just
Yeah.
start following the yes. And you'll get closer and closer. And then all of a sudden something will be a yes.
Mhm.
And then you can say, okay, that clarity is clear. That's a yes. Now, no matter what happens along that journey, I'm not going to just stop because I'm eating. I'm going to commit to actually doing XYZ. And I found when I can distinguish between eating and being aligned and knowing that they can coexist, that's really, really important.
You know, my friend Andrea Crowder, who I love, she's such an innovative thinker, and she wrote about. Have you ever met Andrea by any chance?
No, I was just going to look her up. I'm
Oh,
like,
freaking cool, man. She was saying, when she makes a decision, she looks at a couple of buckets, and I'm going to butcher this, and I don't know our content to this extent. Um, but she was saying like the feeling good to do, like that's one
mhm.
bucket. This feels good to do.
Yeah.
But the bucket she weighs more heavily is feeling good to have done.
Oh,
You know?
oh, I love what feels just so yummy to get done, to
Yeah,
complete.
like
Yeah.
it feels good to have done. Like what is that quote? I don't like writing, but I love having written. I don't remember
Yes,
what that quote
yes.
is.
You're
I'm like,
very, yep. It's
preach.
so it.
It's
That's it. That's
yeah,
it. You
that's
might
it.
not like going through all the details. I don't like selling my books. I just want to write in my cave all day.
Yes,
But I
me
love
too.
having sold books, right?
Yeah,
It's like
totally.
so very yes, 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 yes. I feel like that is so spot on. Much more
Yeah.
concise way of saying what I was trying to
Well,
say.
it's like that's what life is, right? It's becoming who you want to be, being proud of it.
Yeah.
And going back to what you're saying with like detachment earlier, and I feel like this is a cool note to end on because I have like my final question for you about
Hmm.
this. But you know, in the spiritual laws of success, Deepak Chopra writes about how the power, somebody who is empowered around detachment is empowered because detachment is really understanding the power of yourself. The
Mm.
ability to be detached rides on you understanding how powerful you are.
Yeah.
When you are attached to something, it's because you forgot how powerful you are. You think this is the thing. But
Yeah.
somebody who's in the law of detachment, they're in possibilities, they're available to things being better all the time because they know their power. They can be detached.
Yes.
It's this or something better. So,
Yes.
what is like the one thing you have for everybody to know now that you're going? Can you tell us a little bit about your book that's coming out now?
Mhm.
I know you have these two books, like which one, which is for who, like
Yes.
through that.
Yes. Okay. So I love the way you said about detachment. I've also heard non-attachment, which helps me understand that like we can still be engaging with things, not
Mm.
totally detached.
Mm.
Um, anyways, so have my current book out, which is called The Other Woman. It's actually a fiction book that I wrote. And it was based on an experience that I had with being in a relationship with a married man when I was in my early 20s and how much that my career. So
Mm.
that's a very good book. A lot of women who are actually
Speaking of the
not
same
in.
body with your
Yes,
pregnancy,
yeah,
there we are.
it's a lot of women who are like not into reading have read it and they've loved it. And then I actually have a book coming out sometime September, that I'm co-writing with my Eastern philosophy teacher. And so that's going to be a lot of these practices actually that I've mentioned today in that book, all of the things that have transformed my way of thinking and operating in the world. That's going to be coming out in September. And then I have another book that I'm actually just finishing editing, coming out in November. So that'll be a ways away, but yeah.
Gosh, I'm so grateful to have you. You're so like, it's so rare to be able to just bounce with somebody like this for me. And these are always
Oh,
the best episodes. So thank you for being that person. And I'll put everything in the show notes. Definitely text that stuff to me because I want to
I
see.
will.
And
I
it's so good
will.
to be with you.
I know you too. You're just the best. It was so fun to jam.
Yeah.
And then when I'm in New York, we can get
Yeah.
together.
Done and done. Thanks for tuning in to the U-Turn podcast. I hope you learned so much in this episode and you're putting it into action today. We would love to hear from you. Slide into my DMs at Ashley Stahl or leave a written review if you're inspired. It would mean so much to us. Be sure to subscribe to the show because, as you know, the more subscribers we get, the better the guests we can bring you. And in the meantime, if you're looking to skyrocket your personal brand and impact millions,
Head on over to wisewhisperagency.com to learn more about how we can help you craft your greatest talk of your life, how we can help you get booked on some of the biggest stages in the world, even the TED or TEDx stage. We'd love to hear from you, and that's it for this week.
Trying to solve, always think you know it. I've been thinking about you up against that wall. It's too late, I fell on every fall. Holding ground on I'm holding ground on holding ground on late night drive, what you trying to do tonight? I swear you don't even try, yeah, you still I can try and make you mine, but I don't think you like guys. I don't think you like guys. I don't think I should try. I guess it's time to give up.